Hey, welcome back to the AteTreeWon video, and in today's video we are going to be checking out the Analogue Pocket Glow in the Dark edition. Let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, welcome back to the AteTreeWon video, and yes, I am checking out the Analogue Pocket Glow in the Dark edition. So if you don't know, Analogue Pocket is a company that makes new consoles to play old games, okay? So that's kind of all the background you need. I'm not gonna be doing like a full in-depth review or anything like that of this product. This is just gonna be a quick little unboxing and just kind of showing it off next to my other consoles because this product is old. This product has been around for a while and I've been trying to buy it, but it's really difficult for them, I guess, to like manufacture it, or maybe they just like making limited quantities of the product to make it more valuable. But either way, this thing's almost impossible to get just on the standard market. Kind of a pain in the butt. So I ended up breaking down and purchasing this this colorway and everything like that online on eBay. So I paid a little bit extra, but it is also modded. It's modded. I mean, there's an open source code that allows you to also emulate consoles and emulate games onto this thing, which is pretty rad. So not only does it play a full spectrum of old school analog games like Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, like I think Sega Genesis, anyways, a whole spectrum of cool retro games, but it also can now emulate those games as well. So you don't have to, you know, shuffle all these little game cartridges with you everywhere you go. But anyways, I got the Glow in the Dark edition. Let's check it out. So again, I bought this already used, so there's no cellophane on it, but let's use my glasses here for that first person perspective unboxing. Okay, let's open this up. Wow, and here's the console, all nice and shiny, and luckily the person that held it before me didn't take off the screen protector, and I'm going to leave that on so I don't mess it up. But there's a pull tab that looks like it sticks to the back of the console. Wow. So this is nice. This is very green. Like, this is a very green console. I'm going to try to turn off all the lights so you guys can get an idea of the glowiness of it. Yeah, so, you know, kind of a traditional Game Boy style looking console. So you got your little nubbies here, up, down, left, right. You got your A, B, X, Y buttons. They're unlabeled, so I guess they could be whatever you want them to be. And then you got start, select, and then you do have the analog button here down in the middle, which is really nice. And then you got your left and right triggers for any games that require those. So, you know, pretty fun little console. Up and down volume, and you've got this sleep, wake, and power button here on the side. There's also an SD card slot right here on the side, which you can upload your ROMs or whatever have you. Let's go ahead and power this console on and check it out. So Open FPGA, I think, is the company that makes all of this. But yeah, you've got play cartridge, library, Open FPGA. That's going to be where your emulators are stored, memories, all your save states, tools, and settings. So it's got a little display marker right there. So the screen on here I'm going to post is a really nice, high quality LCD. It's definitely overkill for any type of gaming you're going to be doing on this thing. But yeah, let's you know, we've seen kind of what it looks like. Oh yeah, there's a little button here, I forgot to include that. So this is going to be where you can kind of plug in your link cables. So if you guys want to do any gaming, you got your USB-C charging port down there and a headphone jack. So pretty nice, also a little indicator light. But real quick, what I want to do is I want to compare it to the Game Boy Color. So this is my original Game Boy Color from when I was younger. Yeah, this thing's old. But here's kind of the Game Boy Color and what that looks like. And this is it's really dirty and gross, so excuse the grime. I just found it at my parents' house. And then this is the the Analogue Pocket. So as you can see, they're pretty much similar in size. I would say the Analogue Pocket's a little bit taller. Also does have a nice, brighter, larger display. And slimness, I'm gonna say they're both about the same slimness. I mean, that Game Boy Color's got a little bit of back on it, but yeah. And you know, yeah, and then on the back, you just slide in your game, your cartridge, and you start playing. So that gives you kind of a rough idea of the size of this. I mean, it's kind of the perfect size to play games on, in my opinion. And if you have retro games, if you have your old Game Boy, Game Boy Colors, any of those type of cartridges lying around and you want to play them, I think this is a really good option for that. Now, one thing I do want to say is the price does vary. Again, so this will cost you between $200 and $250. The 50 extra is usually the limited quantity versions that come out kind of like this one. And the thing that's a bummer about that though is that they're really hard to get. right? Unless you're waiting to try to buy one off their website, you're probably not going to get it for the retail value. You're going to have to get it on eBay. So feel free to just tack on an extra $100 for that, right? Maybe even an extra $150, depending on the colorways. I know they released some see-through, like clear plastic ones, like more retro-ish. Those look pretty cool. Again, those are running for about $350. For 100 even, I paid about $350 for this one. And yeah, it sucks. I do love glow in the dark stuff. Like, I don't know why. I have this like affinity. Anytime I see anything glow in the dark, my mind is like, you have to have it. So anyway, that's why I got this one. It's a lot more green than I thought it would be. Usually glow in the dark stuff is a bit more like a palish green, like a whiter green, which is what I thought this would be more like, but no. There is some plastic here on the back that I'm gonna leave on to protect it because it's just expensive. The nice thing is about the front screen is that it does have Gorilla Glass, so you don't have to really worry about like minor scratches. So you can just kind of throw this into a bag and it should be fine. But let's put in a game cartridge and play a game that I own legally. Let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna play Turtles Back from the Sewers. So you don't have to turn the console off and on for that. You just put the game in, slots in just like that, that nice little nostalgic feeling. And some people say they have play in their cartridge. I do not. I don't have any play in that Game Boy cartridge, which is nice. And then yeah, we just hit play cartridge. And I got an error. All right, just like, all right, quick cartridge, confirm. Error again, okay. All right, getting some errors here. I think you just gotta blow in it. Let's try this now. There we go. So it talks about what game it is. We hit play and it starts playing. All right, we got out of the errors. Had to do the typical blow in the cartridge. Such a classic move right there. That is such a classic move. But yeah, I'll turn it up. But yeah, so, you know, we're gonna start the game up right now, you know, maybe play a little bit and, you know, just so you guys can see, like, look at how nice looking this is. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That is a really nice looking display. It's pretty loud, so I'm gonna turn it down. And then, you know, you can start playing your game. No big deal. Yeah, on the ROMs, you do have save states. I think you can do save states as well on the Game Boy games, but you have to be playing the Game Boy. The game cartridge has to be in order for those save states to be active. My understanding of that. But yeah, and then if you want to quit out, all you got to do is hit the analog button. You go down, quit cartridge, confirm, and that basically allows you to remove the cartridge and put in another game cartridge like Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. Again, another cartridge that is supported by the Analogue Pocket. And yeah, it just goes in right back here just like that, slots in. Then you can start playing. So I'm gonna hit play cartridge and it's definitely read the cartridge there. It tells you what it is and it starts playing. So on a widescreen format, it does kind of look like that a little bit. So you do get that kind of playback. Now, if you hit the analog button and hit down to the side, it does allow you to change the display. So right now I'm playing on the original GBA type of screen layout. See, we got analog GBA, original, Game Boy SP101. So it does kind of let you toggle between different types of displays, but I mean, the Analogue Pocket, it upscales the game so much nicer. You really want to play in that, in my opinion. But okay, we've done kind of this little research. You know, you can put ROMs on it. Feel free to watch somebody else's videos for that type of content because I don't know how to do that. Or I do, I just don't want to, this video would be too long. This is just a quick unboxing and checking it out. But yeah, if you are into old consoles, if you still have a lot of old games and you want to be able to play them on the go and you just don't want to lug it like a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance, I think this is going to be the console for you. I bought a Game Boy Micro as like a quick little console that I could take around, and I realized it doesn't play Game Boy Color games. I didn't know that. Why did I think the Game Boy Color played all those other consoles? Or all of those other cartridges? Yeah, I'm playing Game Boy Advance, which is a bummer. However, I'm excited about this thing. I think this is fun. I really think it's unique. I don't know how they haven't gotten sued yet by like Nintendo and everybody else that made these old consoles. Like, that's wild to me. Like, I genuinely do not understand how they are not in trouble by anyone. But one thing I want to mention is, again, this is expensive and super hard to find for the retail price. There are a ton of people making, little gaming systems like this that play emulated games for significantly cheaper. I mean, you can get a Miu Mini Plus for about 60 bucks. It's a little smaller than this. It's about the size of a Game Boy Color, maybe a little bit smaller than that. And you can play all the retro games on that thing as well. Now, it won't play the actual physical games, right? So it won't play these, but it'll emulate them. So if you own that game, you can download the ROM and play it legally because you own the ROM, you can play it whenever you want, but it won't play the physical cartridge. For some people, they don't care, right? You could just be like, who cares? I don't want to lug around my cartridges. I just want to play my ROMs. And then pay 60, 70 bucks. You can get a solid Miu Mini Plus, or Ambernick has a ton of devices as well that can do the same thing this thing can do, minus playing OG OEM cartridges. Now, if you have a bunch of these cartridges, if you have a collection, myself, I'm starting to collect Game Boy Colors and Game Boy Advance and all those old school systems from when I grew up, then I wanted something like this so that I can just throw my cartridge in and play, just kind of get that nostalgia, right? So for me, this was something I knew I was gonna want eventually. After years of not being able to buy one myself online, like just through their website, I ended up going the other route. But yeah, I mean, it's a kind of a cool little console. Again, if you have the cartridges, I definitely think this is something you should think about getting. If you don't have any cartridges and you just want to play retro games, do not buy this thing. It is very expensive, even more so when you end up figuring in the cost of everything else that you have to buy. But yeah, so I don't know, it's neat. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn off the lights and I'm gonna see if I can get this room dark so we can check out the glowiness. So let's do that. Okay, I'm back. It's super dark in here, but here is the glowing Analogue Pocket. I mean, it does look a little speckly, which is kind of lame, but yeah, you're seeing just the console glowing right now. I mean, it is 100% super glowy. I did have to take it outside to charge it up a little bit, but I don't know, I think it does look kind of cool. I mean, you can't hate on a glowing console, but I just don't like how splotchy it looks. Like, are you seeing that? That's not like it coming like weird from the screen. It is a little blotchy. So let me turn the lights on and talk about that. Okay, so one of the last things I do want to say is Analogue Pocket team said that they wanted it to look like how it looks, like a little blotchy. Like they said it wanted to look like the night sky or something like that. I don't know. I don't like it. I think if they just would have done like a solid glow in the dark, it would have looked a lot nicer, but what can you do? But anyways, yeah, that's it. This is my Analogue Pocket. I'm gonna be using this as my console whenever I've got my games with me. If not, I'll probably use one of my cheaper ones when I travel because I'm gonna be too afraid to scratch it. Yeah, I'm that guy now. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Yeah, this was pricey, but hey, you know what? I like it. I'm gonna be using it. If you guys like it, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead, if you'd love to go subscribe. Until next time, I'm gonna be playing some retro games. Peace.